Hello, Anita.
It is. Am I the first one?
Yes. Well,
You
it's
see how
okay.
excited I am?
I love it. I love it. And our new normal that's about to change again. You turn all my phones on mute. How's it
Oh,
going? While we wait on people to come in, let's have a little
yeah. Let's
free
let's
talk.
chit chat a little bit. So how you been?
Maintaining my sanity. How you
Doing
doing?
the same. Doing the
Yeah.
same. I have my mother with me. She's early stages Alzheimer's, and
Okay.
she's
Okay.
taking. I mean, she's been taking care of herself. She has her own apartment, car, still drives all that.
Oh
But
wow.
when this happened, she wasn't getting it. I had to pick her up and take her over here. So she's with me right now.
Okay. See, a good daughter.
I
Yeah.
try to
I
be.
my mom lives around the corner from me.
Oh, that helps.
So I had to, my father lives around the building from me.
That helps
And,
even more.
and he has a girlfriend. So I have three toddlers. And
Okay.
um, he's now acting like these people in the street, keeps trying to get out and do all kind of activities. I'm like, sir, please stop. Just
Cannot.
stop. You're 85 with asthma. You ain't going to make it. Just stop. Just stop.
Yeah, it's hard out there.
It's interesting. It's been what, 6 weeks?
Yes.
And this reminds me, I had surgery 5 years ago, and my recovery was about 6 weeks.
Oh my
And the
God.
first couple of weeks, I was acting real silly, driving around. I had what's that? Appendicitis.
Oh no.
Yeah, and I had it where I walked around for 8 days with it. So it was dire by the time they got me into surgery. But once I finally just said, just sit down, and it was 6 weeks, and you do start to get a little antsy and all that, but we have to be mindful. Have you been how's it been kind of trying to deal with the business and all of that? You know,
Uh, Challenging
yeah.
because here's what's going on for me.
Okay.
I'm new at this. I've had my license now for about a year and a half.
Okay.
And last year I had no transactions. I had two that were an almost, but that was a bust.
Story of our
And
lives.
yeah, exactly. And then I got this one and it went through smoothly, even with Corona and all that, because it
Oh,
just
okay.
closed. Yeah, it just closed Friday. I just got my first commission Friday, this past Friday.
Wait a minute, hold on. For the people in the back that's not paying attention, it feels good, right?
It does.
But it feels like
And
you earned it too.
exactly,
It's not free money. It's
exactly.
work.
I mean, and so my plan was, okay, I'm gonna get known in the neighborhood because they're gonna see my face. I'm gonna be knocking on doors and all that. And then Corona happened, and I thought, okay, so what does a new person do?
You know what's interesting about? Wait a minute. Is the deal you closed? Is that the probate?
No, it was a
Is that what you?
trust.
Okay. Okay.
So it was
Well,
like a
okay.
regular sale. It was smooth.
Okay. Good for you. Don't let that smooth taste fool you.
I
Okay.
know, huh?
But here's the thing. Your question about what does a new person do? Actually, my dear, that's a question about what do all of us do. So I
Okay.
want to encourage you to take new out of your sentences,
Okay.
right? Out of your thinking, because you have a transaction under your belt. There is no accident that it went smoothly. Please understand that as soon as you start changing who's in the transaction, things can change. So whatever relationships or your ability to really kind of communicate and convey, take credit for that.
Okay.
Seriously.
I
Because there will
will.
be times when it's not smooth and you need to understand that you're the deciding factor a lot of times.
Okay.
So congratulations on that. Hi David, but the conversation now is what are all of us doing? And I'm glad you have that question because in ordinary sense or the olden days, because it's not going back there, when we had session 12, the blast off, we're going to let you in, out into the world, right? Go
Right.
and be fruitful and multiply.
Right.
There were certain things that this lesson will tell you to do. We're going to have a conversation about, and this is me taking the 17 years and having gone through a meltdown before, and this is different, but it's still a meltdown, how to tweak it to what's happening now. So we're actually gonna, today is about really kind of putting a bow on it and continuing to move forward.
Let me call you this shit over, man.
Okay, so Devin's iPad, if we could just be on mute, please and thank you. But, you know, I don't know how the other folks have been doing, but you guys know me, I'm very interactive. So if you can quiet your background, take your things off mute so we can engage in a real organic way, okay? So, because I respect time, it's 1:07, so whoever is going to roll with us was going to come. I'm filming. Let me see. I need you to tell me if you can see my screen. What do you see?
I can see it.
You can see the Ignite blast off?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. I'm getting better. So ridiculous, this thing here. Okay, so, you know, again, one of the challenges when you don't teach all of the course, you know, all of the sessions. I don't know what everyone else has been doing, but I'm going to follow the instructions and at least have a quick conversation about if you've been able to follow the 10-4, right? That's the preview 10 properties. Now, of course, you're not walking in them, but we have online, right? Being knowledgeable about your market. Are you reaching out to 10 people a day? Right? Either brand new people or checking in on people. And then have you had opportunities to, you know, write personal notes, or how are you guys going with that in terms of that lead generation tool? Hello, is this mic on?
I'm going to go ahead and answer. For me, I have done a few cold calls. I have not done it every day. I have talked to people that I know.
Okay.
And I know that I need to really get into practicing the scripts because I haven't really practiced. I'm just going to tell on myself, okay?
This
I haven't practiced that well yet, and I feel strange talking to people with this COVID-19 stuff going on because I don't want to seem insensitive.
Okay, so we'll talk about that. Since you mentioned scripts, I will let you know we're working on setting up like script practice. You're separate and outside so everybody can feel comfortable with the conversation and the dialogue. But we'll get to that. Okay, so you're cold calling. Great. Not my thing.
Not enough. I'm going to tell you the truth, not enough, but I have.
Here's what I will encourage you to do. To kind of save yourself from spanking yourself, and don't even put a value on it. The question is, are you doing it or not? Am I going to enough? Now, ultimately, the measurement of if you are connecting enough is how many leads you end up with. If we don't have enough leads, don't have enough things in the pipeline, then that means we need to talk to more people, right? But the value on I'm not doing enough, I'm failing, or I'm not, bad girl, bad boy, don't do that to yourself, right? Okay. You just, you know what? I've made X amount of calls this week and I really haven't gotten any leads or any information. I need to kick it up. That's all. Doesn't that energy feel different? That's a whole different energy, right? Okay, but there are people that know you, love you, trust you already, your database, right? Now that's kind of the low-hanging fruit. That's even the easiest. So, make sure that, yes, we need to add people, and that's going to come more as we walk out back into the world, but you have a plethora of people and maybe business opportunities already in your phone book, in your Facebook friends list. See where I'm going with that? And you don't have to, you're not calling to say, hey, I'm a great saleswoman and I just sold 1, 2, 3, 4 Main Street. Take this time just to check on folks. Folks are stressed out now, for real, right? So just say, hey, I'm checking, I'm in between my real estate calls, I'm checking in on you. How you doing? That's it. So now when you call and you are having real estate conversations, you don't sound like Krusty the Realtor that just showed up talking about real estate. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Oh, very good. Anybody else want to share how they're doing with 10-4? I'm looking at two screens, so if I look crazy, it's because I'm looking over. All right, we're gonna move on. I was looking at what your assignment was for the power session today. Part of the assignment was to speak with 5 seasoned agents, either in the market center, around the country, what have you. But of course, we're not walking around. But I want you to also give some thought, because in a few minutes, when we get to the point of talking about what we've learned from other folks, you know, we're fortunate to have an ALC that has shown up in these classes to share kind of their perspective. So I want you to be thinking now, everybody has to share some of the ahas or some of the wisdom that you've been able to pluck from, you know, the Juan Michael or the Stubbs or Heather Pritchett, you know, the folks that have led these courses, because we're putting a bow all on this. Okay, make sense?
Yes.
All right. All right. Don't know if you're using it. However, there is this tool, the daily104.com, the tracker that helps you keep track of like the lead generation and all that stuff. Every time I'm here, I say, please use it. It just makes sense. And probably more important than all of these activities, is critical right now, is to know your market and to be previewing the properties. Again, you have agents that are pivoting to virtual tours. So it's like walking through, right? If they don't have virtual tours, but they have photos up, you know, all of us have been in homes, we can kind of figure out what's going on. We can look and see what the kitchen looks like and all that good stuff. Right now, the agents, old, new, and in between, that we're going to win this, able to conduct business full on again, because we know the market better than anybody else. And it's not just about numbers, it's about actual inventory, right? Imagine you, through your calls and relationships, you actually get a seller, for instance, who is interested in, go ahead and put their property on the market. And they've been watching you and things you say, or they appreciated a call and they want to talk to you, and you have to now have a conversation about pricing or days on market or comparative, like how this property stacks up compared to what's out there on the market as competition. You won't be really able to do it at the highest level, to have those conversations as a true consultant, unless you know the market. So I'm going to encourage that you actually have, moving forward, you know, it might not be every day, maybe it's on Mondays, maybe it's Mondays and Fridays, whatever you decide, but you time block. You specifically time block to go through whatever area you're focusing on and, you know, really know the inventory and what's happening. And all of this matters because, as we were talking about a few minutes ago, you need like this big amount of leads to kind of funnel through. So you're having conversations, then you might get to the kitchen table, then it whittles down because not everyone is going to either agree that it's the right time. Right now, we're going to have people who are scared to make a move. It's paralysis by analysis. It's going to be people who are no longer in a position to do something, right? So you start with all these potential opportunities, and through each stage of vetting, it's less and less people until we, you know, kind of funnel down to a payday. So getting the leads and being able to hold on and really bulletproof the transactions matter now more than I've seen in the last 10 years, actually. So now I'm supposed to show you, hey, Terrence, I'm supposed to show you this cute little video. Let's see if Mahogany can figure out how to show another screen. Let's see here. Can you see what do they have what they need to succeed video on your screen? Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, now, let me see something. Do we like how my hands can move stuff? Okay, this is about 2 minutes. Let's pay attention.
Life of a mega agent. First thing in the morning, have to start with getting up and getting my head right. What I've discovered is if I get my head there, my body will show up. So that typically means getting up in the morning, always exercising, getting the blood flowing. And second, reading something either spiritual or motivational, or listening to an audio tape. Jim Rohn happens to be my favorite, so he's always in one of my CD players somewhere so that I can plug him in easily. Just listening to people that are inspirational, because I think all of us need hope every day to go do what we have to do. As we get to the office, the most important thing is, because every business is a lead generation business, is what does that lead generation look like? For me, because I'm at the 7th level, one of the most important things is what key people do I need to talk with that day? And that always pops up first. Do they have what they need to succeed? And then the next thing is, who are the people we need to be doing business with? How have I communicated with them lately? What do I need to do now? Is it a phone call today? Is it a drip campaign? Is it an invitation to something? Looking for how do I communicate with those people that we want to do business with, and how do I keep furthering that relationship and moving it along? I've discovered my business energy is highest earliest in the morning, earliest in the day, and earliest in the week. So I front load my week, Monday being the most difficult day with all the contacts and all the lead generation that I need to do early in the morning. Frees me up to have the afternoon to kind of just work on plans or projects. Typically what I find is through the week, Monday and Tuesday are heavier, and Wednesday, and by Thursday and Friday, it's pretty more entrepreneurial or just off the cuff. And in the evening on Mondays or through the week is, it's always about family, because the reason we do what we do is so that we can build a great life and build great memories with our families. So our kids are very important to us. We're very involved. It's what are we going to do as a family? What do we need to do as a family? When's dinner? Where are we going to go? Or what are we going to eat? And that kind of rejuvenates me. One of my philosophies is the purpose of business is to fund life. And to me, life is all about family. And as a mega agent, your day might look different, but the key things we have to always remember is certain parts of our day have to look the same. So you might want to think about, where's my head? How can I get my head in the right place? And then we always want to remember that every business has to be lead generating. So what does your lead generation look like? Is it earliest in the morning? Is it earliest in the day? And then we always have to know that somewhere in the day we have to spend that quality time with family, because we don't want to win at business to lose at family. Thanks for watching KW Connect, and make it a great day.
Okay. So, I'm going to switch over. Hold on. There we go. All right. So, I want to give you guys an opportunity. Now, Linda McKissick, and that's who that was. She is like mega, like beyond mega. And for those who are newer in the business or new to KW, 7th level basically means, and there's a poster about it, she's worked up to the point and developed a team where she personally does not interact with buyers and sellers every day. She actually is a bona fide real estate business. So she has her listing specialist, buyer specialist, CEO, all those different aspects to run the business. She's what would be considered, we call it the rainmaker. Her job is to continue to lead generate, to continue to connect with people on that high level so the team can function. The biggest difference is that whether she goes into the office or not, the business continues to run, which is different for most of us, right? Even though we are independent or we're businesses, if you have an S Corp or an LLC, so you're identified by the tax code as a business, the reality is if we get sick or something else happens, if we don't show up to work, no money is generated. So which is okay. Some people aspire to be that seventh level. Some folks just want to have a really nice business that gives them a nice life. The beauty of this is you get to decide exactly what you want. Here's the beauty of it though, back to the Millionaire Real Estate Agent and the Shift Book. The tools, the lead generation activity, the models work for seventh level, just starting, and all parts in between. So that's the beauty, right? It's the same for everybody. It just really matters on how far you want to expand. So part of your homework for today, again, was to interview some successful agents in the Market Center. We didn't have that opportunity, and I have a funny feeling nobody called anybody. So let's take a few minutes where I want each of you to share with me just an aha or some pearl of wisdom or something that you've garnered from these last 11 sessions with the successful agents teaching it. Don't all speak at once. Who wants to go? Hello, hello.
Well, you definitely have to lead generate,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to be consistent with it.
Okay. Okay. And when you say consistent with it, what did you hear that to really mean?
Block out a time every day and call like 5 people or 10 people or whatever your number is.
Right. Actually, out of what you just said, probably the most critical, and you heard Ms. McKissick say it, parts of your day need to be consistent, right? I'm probably the mindset from a coach perspective that probably scares most folks. I don't go, you have to do this amount per day. What I will tell you is it needs to be consistent. It can't happen haphazardly, right? It's in your schedule. If you decide between 9 and 11, you're going to do lead generation activities, then 9 to 11 every day. That's what you do. Now, what the lead generation activities look like, that's up to you. Everybody's not the same, right? But whatever it is you say you're going to do to get business or the opportunity to get business, it just needs to be consistent. So that's a good one. That's a good one for sure, for sure. Someone else? Give me an aha from being in Ignite, these last 11 sessions. I'm gonna start calling out folks. David, you have an aha? David? Terrence? I don't know who Devin's iPad is.
For me, my aha moment is when they said, I think it was Juan, when he said, you work for the deal. Working for the deal. It's important. That's basically working for the deal is what's gonna get the job done. So,
what do you mean by working for the deal?
I mean, of course, you represent the buyer or the seller, but basically the deal is basically like the main thing. As long as you work for the deal, the seller and the buyer are just part of the deal. So the importance is getting the actual deal closed, and whether it's negotiating or whatever that may be in the transaction. He said it, and Juan said it, and then I forgot the last guy name. It was last week.
Bill?
Huh?
Was it Bill Yarbrough?
Yeah, I believe so. He happened to say the same thing. So that's what.
Okay. And that's fair. What I will say, look, with my super realtor hat on, because I agree with that. That's absolutely correct. But here's the layers of understanding. Confuse that with you do whatever you have to do to get it done. right? We have a fiduciary duty to our client, right? Seller. We have a duty to protect them, a duty to have their not our personal interest to cash a check, right? But
Yeah.
ultimately, taking what you're saying, but ultimately, our responsibilities through our National Association of Realtor Ethics is to be, how can I say this? It's not about just getting the deal done, but just about honoring the highest level of protecting everyone in the transaction. Now I'll tell you on a day-to-day how I interpret focus on the deal. If I'm talking to another agent and they're talking real crazy to me, and in California, they like to talk real crazy to each other. It's not personal. I personally am not gonna go because I'm focused on the deal. That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Both clients, both sides are counting on me. If everybody else is acting crazy, I'm going to remember every conversation is about getting this deal done. Every negotiation is about following the deal. So absolutely, we get paid the medium bucks to be the conduit between folks, to be the voice of reason, right? When you have a client that's cussing you out and they do that and they get emotional, get upset, you always remember, it's not about me, it's about this deal. They're not mad at me. They're frustrated about what's happening with this deal. You know, so you're right. That's a good one.
Yeah, I didn't mean. Yeah, I think that's more what they meant, because I know, of course, if you have a fiduciary duty to whoever you represented, and of course, and you want to be ethical. But I think it was more like that's what they was meaning by that. Basically, like what you're saying. Yeah.
But you see, and I believe that because those are really like high caliber agents, you know, but particularly with a new agent discussion, when things like that come up, I circle back to make sure that we're clear. Because can you see how someone could hear that and maybe go a whole different way?
Yeah, they could take it as basically like they're not representing nobody. They loyalties to the deal, not toward their clients.
And that's a problem. I've seen some people go to jail. We don't want that. But you're right. But absolutely, on its highest level as a professional, it's about the deal. It's not about you. It's not about me. And if it hasn't happened yet, it will. You will have another agent that's calling, talking real crazy. My client will never, all of this, and you will really want to handle them.
Yeah.
Remember, it's not about you, it's about the deal. Right? So, okay, that's a good one. Any other pearls of wisdoms you guys picked up? Anybody want to share? Okay. I will let you slide. All right. I will encourage you to take advantage of the fact that we do have a market center that your ALC, your agents that are in production, that are very successful, that have been around a long time, are really willing to answer questions and to share with you some of the, a little bit of the wisdom, a little bit of, what I've experienced, so you don't have to, reach out, when this is all said and done, take an agent to lunch or take an agent to coffee and just say, I have some questions. Now, what I will caution about is we're not saying, you call up Mahogany and you want me to give you steps 1 through 12 and how I do my business. That's not what I'm talking about. We're talking about really a larger level conversation about things like mindset and the general idea of what they do. And then you circle back and you develop your own, if that makes sense. Unless, of course, if you're mentoring under an agent, a formalized mentorship situation, or you're on their team, of course, they're going to give you all the secret sauce nuggets. Not talking about that, but just an idea of how they do what they do, or how are they staying sane through all of this, all those different things. So we're small enough of a market center family that you really can do that. I'm going to encourage you to do that. Now, let's see. So I also have my little phone here. So we're talking about focus. Now, this is going to be interesting because you spent the last 11 sessions, you've been meeting, you knew what you were coming here to do. I'm gonna trust you did your homework on whatever level, follow through, but we're walking out now of essentially, you know, a class environment, and now it's going to be really important for you to hold yourself accountable to the activities that we've kind of set in motion, right? Because it's still early on for a lot of you in your career, so you really have to continue to dig at this and repeat the activities in order to become a business habit. So something that helps you keep your focus, if you're looking at your materials on page, page 15 actually, is a thing called the 411. And I used to hate the 411 because I thought it was silly. I don't like lists. And if the way it was originally taught to me incorrectly was like it was a to-do list. That is not what this is. The 411 is your plan. And let me break down what it means. So 4 stands for 4 weeks in 1 month, and then those months add up to 1 year, right? So for a person who likes to develop to-do lists, you know, and I've seen this with some of the agents that I've mentored, you know, I've done it where I have a list of I need to do this, 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 and I have like 20 items and I'm just checking off stuff and I feel so accomplished because I checked off all this stuff, but it's no direction. It's just stuff. And most of it is the 80% stuff that makes you no money. What a 411 does, and I think it'll show us where you can find it in a second. What a 411 would do, you should, I'm gonna back into it. So 1 or 2 days out the year, hear me now, set aside 1 to 2 days to 3 days out the year where you say, okay, these are my goals for the upcoming year. And it should be business and personal. We're gonna stick to business right now. So if I look back, let's say we're doing 220, I look back at the end of this year, what are the 5 or 6 things that when I accomplish them, notice I didn't say if, what are the 5 or 6 things when I accomplish them, I will feel like this was a good year. I did good in business. So you start with that high level thinking, right? Like we're on the rooftop looking down. Now, those 5 or 6, not 10 or 12, 5 or 6 business goals. Now you go and you say, okay, so I have to chop this down. How do I do that? I have my goals for the year. Now I have to look at each month as at a time marching into those goals. So 1, like an hour to 3 hours a month, the month before. So we would be looking in April, preparing for May. You say, okay, these are my goals for the year. How do I tackle them? For this month of May, what are some things that I would need to accomplish that would help continue to move me forward towards the big goals? If that's not making sense, stop me whenever I'm not making sense, because this is important. It'll keep clarity and focus, and you'll want to buy me a fried lobster dinner at the end of your year because it'll be so great. Okay, so you say, what are the action items, or what are the goals I need to accomplish this month that feed into the big goals? So that's that 1 to maybe 2 hours a month where you sit down and you're like, okay, so this needs to happen. If I say this needs to happen in May. All right, now each week you look at what's the goals for the month. So then week 1, what should I be doing this week that will help feed into the monthly goal? And you don't fill out, see, back when I did it wrong, I would fill out everything. You can't do that because it's a working document. So I'll start with week 1, right? And either I accomplish those things, I figure out if I need more time, and it's going to be now the next week, I'm still working on it. And some things I might say, you know what, that's really not going to serve me, right? So I get out of that. The goals for the year stay the same. Each month, when you start each month, they're the same for that month. And then each week is what is dynamic. It begins to switch into, okay, what am I doing this week? And I'll move over. I'll give you an example. I have decided that I have a goal about a YouTube channel and how many followers for like a year from now. That'll make me feel successful. That I'll build it up, right? I have a certain goal. What I understand is in order to do that, I have to have content. I have to have regularity of posting the content. I have to have, some idea of direction. I understand that from a larger goal. So then I'm looking at the month of May. Well, what do I need to do? Well, the first thing is I need to have the channel up, right? I need to have the channel up and running. I need to have my equipment. What does that look like? Don't know, but I know I need that. See what I'm saying? It's real simple at this point because that's all I know about it. So now when I'm working on my 411 for the first week, so it may include, okay, revamping the YouTube channel. And that may include, I need some new artwork, clip art or whatever for the, what's the little thing, the banner. I'm not spending time to do that. So that means I need to find somebody either on Fiverr or some little kid that's bored at home to do it. I need to say, you know what? I'm taking this seriously. This is cute with the camera and the laptop, but I need to actually invest in a webcam. Haven't investigated them yet, but I know I need that. You see where I'm going with this? I need to already have bright lights, camera, action. But whatever it is, I think I need to get off the ground. That's going to be what I deal with the first week. How am I up and running? And I might, I've been following a woman on YouTube. I have a couple of classes. I'm going to go back over it. You see what I mean? That's this week. Now, let's say through everything going on, my first week, I get the equipment, but I've done nothing to the my actual YouTube channel in terms of look and presentation, because that matters. All of a sudden, week 2 might be back to that. You have to get that channel together. See what I mean? It floats over. But it's really, really important. On your page 18, as a matter of fact, is an example of what the 411 tool looks like. You can find it on productivitywarriors.com. I am still old school. I like paper, but the cool thing is they actually have it where it's an online tool. So if you look at it, you're looking at your annual goals for the year. Again, you see how it is for the month. That stays the same from whenever you start. So let's say from May to May, or from May to April 2021. And yes, you can do your year like that. We can start the year over. I think that 2020 deserves a start over. It's up to you. And then you see the weekly goals. So I think, let me know, you guys, would you like an actual class where we dedicate to walk through like a 411 for everybody, maybe starting off the first month? Who thinks that would be a good class maybe to have in May? You can let me know in the chat or what have you, because we're looking at things to support you. All right. Now, clearly, we're not going to do the 411 worksheet today because we would be in class 30 minutes. We're not doing that. But here's what we do need to do. This is an important discussion. At the very beginning of this class, I said I was going to pivot some of what we're supposed to be doing at this point to really be in alignment with what's going on in the world, which means in our business world. So need to revisit your goals. Some of us were here in January when Nicole did the business planning clinic and had a GCI, gross commission income goal. Some folks have joined us since then. But at some point in these conversations, even if it's just with yourself, every one of you should have had decided a goal, how much money you wanted to make for the year, right? Who has not? Anybody not? Okay. So I want you to go back to that goal. The GCI goal is fine, it's fun. And what we're going to have to pivot to is not just about the commission, but about number of transactions. And it's interesting to me that in California, they don't really discuss number of transactions. I was trained in the Southeast where that's all we talk about. That's why you hear people who've done 400 transactions, 200, 50, 80, like, what? I think it's because we can make so much money potentially on a transaction. You know, a low commission is $14,000 that we've just enjoyed making a lot of money quickly. Because of the way everything is slowed down, I was on a webinar about an hour ago listening to the housing information specifically for LA County, Riverside County, and San Diego County. We're down like 400% in inventory. So what does that mean? That means that it's taking longer to get to deals, and it's taking longer to get deals done. And while that may be a little scary, I will tell you this is not like before when the market crashed, because that was based on true financial factors. This is something else. I do believe that once we're able to open back up and really function the new normal, it'll take a little minute, probably a month or two, before people really feel comfortable about navigating around. But you'll start to see some of the angst dissipate. You'll start to see, you know, people who really may need to sell, have been wanting to sell, kind of peeking their head up, right? But it's still going to be about focused on number of transactions, right? If you focus on, okay, I plan to close, 20 this year, which 20 would be a ridiculously profitable business in a town where the average agent does one transaction. And you imagine if you did 10 transactions, whatever that is, but look at the amount you were going for, but set a goal for the number of transactions. And the reason why I think that is critical is because when you're doing the activities like the calling, which then the calling and the conversations must pivot to an appointment. Until we're face-to-face, that's online, just like this. And people are doing it very successfully, right? So it's the conversation, it's the appointment, it's getting them to hire you and getting that sign in the yard, or not the buyer in the car, but buyer in the car. If you focus on, all right, I said I was going to do 10 transactions. All right, I have 2. All right, I have 4. It helps with the focus. Any questions or comments about that? No? Okay, we carry on. But it's important. You have to have something that you are shooting for. So this next slide talks about the conversion rate. Clearly, we're not going to do 20 minutes talking about that, but I'm going to give you the general lay. Particularly if you're new, just use kind of what's been seen as the average conversion rate. Conversion rate means based on how many appointments, how many calls that I make, how many of those turn into appointments. And then another conversion rate is for the appointments that I actually have the one-on-one meeting with the buyer or seller, what percentage of those actually hire me? They sign an agreement, sign on the dotted line. That's your conversion rate. No one's 100%, right? On average, I say assume, especially if you're new, it's 50-50, right? And that's okay. The better you get with scripts and the better you get comfortable with the process, it will start to change a little bit, and then you'll have your own conversion rate. But let's work with 50-50, right? So based on how many transactions you have as your goal for the year, then you have to back into, well, how many conversations do I need to have? How many conversations do I need to have? And conversations at the virtual kitchen table, and then eventually eyeball to eyeball, how many conversations do I need to have before the people sign on the dotted line? Well, if we're using a 50%, you know, if you need 10 agreements, then you need 20 appointments. That's the easy math. I'm gonna tell you, it's not really that easy, because everybody you meet with, even if they sign with you, what percentage will actually close the deal? Let's just assume, because times are tight and it was already tightening up, 50% of deals that you put in escrow or under contract will not make it to the dance, will not make it to the bank for you. So see how we're doing that? So now, again, if I want 10 transactions, and based on a 50% conversion rate, right? See how we back into that? So if I need 10 transactions, that means I really need 20 in order to probably close 10. So now I need to have 20 escrows. See, we're allowing for the fallout. If you see my eyes looking crazy, because I'm figuring this out. This is a conversation I'm having with myself, honestly. All right, so you need 20 escrows in hopes of them turning into 10 close. So let's back into it. So 20 escrows, and we have a 50% conversion, right? You need at least 40 listing agreements. And that could be a seller listing or a buyer listing. Don't care. I still call them listing agreements. Now, again, based on the 50% conversion rate, that means in order to get 40 signed, we hired you situations, you need 80 appointments. It's not crazy. And it's not like, oh my gosh, she's nuts. But you see how the focus at least will help you stay on target, because when this is all said and done, we want to be the ones that are standing strong. Okay? So I have to open it back up to you guys. I need you to share with me, and this is based on your page 26, what actions are you committed to taking? Because, you know, we're not going to be checking in. What actions are you going to be committed to taking after this, right? On your page 26, the commitments are, I commit to continuing the 10-4, right? Continue to know your market by previewing the property. You're lucky. You don't have to drive to them. Back in the olden days, before it was coronavirus, I had to walk in the properties. You can look at 10 properties in 30 minutes on your computer. And I know you have one because you're here, see? Commit to practicing scripts daily. We're working on something to have script practice, and I'm excited about it. We're just trying to figure out how to time and all that good stuff, but that's coming. It's something that I hope that you will commit to. If the way we set it up doesn't work for you, you find you a buddy, and not your friend, because you'll call your friend, and your friend will start talking about, you know, such and such happened and all. No, you want an actual script partner. And let me tell you how it goes. If you make an agreement that this week we're going to work on scripts for a seller's objection to putting their house on the market right now, that's the script we're going to use. And we're going to practice Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8:15. Oh, it don't take a lot of time. 8 a.m. to 8:20, whatever the agreement you have. Or I'll tell you how I'm leading the scripts. I'll tell you how it'll work with me. So now we log on, or we're on the call, or you're with your buddy. It's 8 o'clock. It's not, how you doing? How's it going? How'd you sleep? It's none of that, because we're not here for that. It is, you pick up the phone or you online and it's right to the script practice. Who's the buyer, who's the seller, right? You give each other both a chance to do it and you go out to the world and be great, right? If it's a personal relationship or other things you want to talk about, you talk about it at another time. You set an appointment to circle back, but you need to honor your script practice time. I'll tell you, there will be no time for questions or none of that because it'll be about people understanding. We step into the script room, that's what you're working on. And the goal would be, tell you what's real fun, if we do this well, in about 6 months, we can even play this game on a higher level. I had a script partner once that our deal was between the hours of 9 a.m. and 2 p.m., one could call the other at any time. And when we picked up, immediately that person would go into scripts. It was so fun and scary at the same daggone time. All right, now commit to holding open houses every week. Well, let's talk about that. People are doing virtual open houses. Listen, commit to learning how to do that and figure out how to hold. You could easily figure out maybe, I think Anita, you had said with your listing, you were looking forward to people knowing who you are, right? Yeah. And you were successful. Now this is just off the top of the dome, okay? I'm freestyling, but imagine if you focused on an area and you looked at the properties that were in that area and you set up a way to just focus once a week, I'm highlighting the properties in this area, right? Part of command, part of the Facebook ads, you could target people in the area for all of a sudden it's showing up as a quick little ad in the area. Right? You can drive people to that conversation and all they're doing, not trying to sell them anything. You're just basically, hey, this is such and such expert in this week's house special. Right? Yeah. That's something to explore. I think that's a pretty genius idea. You let me know how it work out. I think I might try it. All right. Continue to put your people that are in your database, continue to put them in command. Don't stop that. I know everybody has not put everybody in command. You know how I know? Because I haven't. I'm still putting it over, right? It's okay. Is it 3 a day, 5 a day, 10 a day? Is it, you know what? I need to put my Facebook people in command. So I have a friend who each day when the birthdays are set up as a reminder, she then puts those people, that's her thing. Each day I put people in by their birthdays. So it can be manageable. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. It's kind of hard right now. It feels hard. I commit to going on however many appointments. Let's say if everybody on this call, I'm committing to 1 appointment a week. That's easy. 1 appointment a week. Now, because of what we're dealing with, that's a virtual appointment. I will make it easy. Somebody that you would maybe talk to in general, instead set it up. Hey, I'll send you a link. Let's just meet up on Zoom and talk about whatever, right? If you want to get comfortable with that, practice on people that already know and love you and trust you. Is it your sorority or fraternity or friends or whatever, right? Get comfortable with this because I think this online business, this virtual business will be here to stay. And the people who will do well in this business are the ones who just get comfortable with it. Let me see. Commit to pre-qualifying sellers with the pre-listing packet, and that's already provided for you. I think that may be worthy of a course really to dig in deeply. And it's some other things on this. I want you to kind of go over that because it's a lot. But here's the thing too. This would be a perfect time for me to do, not doing the script off, for me to plug Bold. Has everybody heard of Bold Pivot? Has anyone not heard of it?
I haven't.
Okay, are you familiar with what Bold is? So not Bold.
I've never taken Bold or anything, although I want to take those classes this year since they're, you know, really inexpensive.
Let me say this to you. I'm 5 times Bold, right? I've graduated 5 times, which means that's 5 times $800. Do the math right quick. This version is $99. It's $99. I spend that much on dinner for myself. Takeout.
Yeah, I already know I'm going to take it.
It starts May 5th, right? Let me tell you how it used to, the old-fashioned way used to be. Old-fashioned way used to be, you sign up, and let's say if your Bold day in the classroom was on Tuesday from 8 o'clock until 4 o'clock, you were in class doing like, Ignite is like baby steps Bold, right? But you're in there at a high level. Shut down your whole business, shut down your whole life, you're in there, and you would have work to do during the week. So obviously we can't go into the classroom, and obviously it would be absolutely ridiculous for KW to not support us in terms of, you know, we're not working like we would be. So what they've done is changed it to an online format. Instead of you used to get your one coach through the whole time, right? And you didn't get to pick your coach, you got who came to you. All of the Bold coaches now are going to rotate, similar to the way Ignite worked, where you had the expertise, different ALC members kind of thing. So I'm excited about that, because there's certain coaches I love, some I don't know, some I'm like, whatever. But the idea to get the perspective from so many. So in class is Tuesdays and Thursdays, starting May 5th. It's a little zhuzhin of it based on red day. There's no class, but Tuesdays and Thursdays from 11 to 1, our time, you're online, you're in class, right? But we have to commit to 4 hours a day, Monday through Friday. I say it should be Monday through Saturday, because where are you gonna go? Commit to 4 hours of lead generation activity. And that can be, as far as I understand, in whichever way, form it needs to be for you. If it is notes, you're doing your notes, you're doing whatever. If it is Facebook messaging, if it is follow-up calls, if it is whatever it is, literally just to have a structured time in your day where you're going after the business. So it is $99. I actually, when I get off this call with you, I put it all in my calendar. I have to actually push go and give them the money. But the time to do it is now. That's all I'm gonna say. The time to do it is now. I get nothing. You know, I don't get any any prize for sending folks over there, other than to say that I will share with you that Bold, the very first Bold I took changed my life. The very first Bold I took is when we were in the bad market in 08. And I had just had a colleague who committed suicide because they couldn't deal with what was happening. I had people whose husbands committed suicide, so stressed out, marriages breaking up. It was everything crazy. And all I did, can you imagine, is wear black all day and never smile. That's crazy, right? Imagine. But it's a combination. It's not just, I'm telling you, it's not just the work. There are parts of Bold that will help your inner being and help you utilize the tools in life, in relationships, which was really the first benefit I got. Pulled me out of that stump. I started to understand that I was the master of my fate. I could control this. It didn't matter what the news and the so-called smart people were telling me this market was. I could create my business, my life, the market for me based on the activities I did, right? And I could choose, like even now, we spending 4 hours listening to the news or binge watching, or are we spending our time understanding that one day the doors are going to open up. And the people who are preparing for that and not just running scared, even though it's a real thing. I know some folks that have been seriously affected personally by what's happening, but you got to get at the business. You got to remember that, because they're not coming to save us. They're not coming to save us. You see the debauchery that is the SBA loan and all that stuff we were supposed to have. Can't even get unemployment yet for those who need it. Have to wait till the 28th. Yeah, they're going to give you the money retroactively, but you know, when you're an entrepreneur, you don't wait for somebody to throw something in your cup. We get at it, right? Which is why we're in this business. As I'm on my soapbox, anybody with I'm not going to do that. Anybody with a question, comment, aha, you know, it's free. We basically have free talk now. I'm going to open it up. Hello, is this mic on? Everybody's so quiet. This is like TV. All right. Well, if you really don't have anything pressing you want to ask me about or share with everybody, what I'll say is this. Congratulations, because through one of the craziest time in history ever, you continue to show up and work on your business, which lets me know that the minute you are allowed to really get at this business, you're going to be all right. I believe that. I believe that because you've shown up. I don't really think it's a reason to give an evaluation, but if you want to, on your Kelly app, if you open it up, let me see here. Open Kelly. You type or say take it, the course evaluation. Tap that link and then select the course. It's Ignite. What's weird is it's not just one instructor, but what I'll say is this. If there was any session that really resonated with you, or you thought the instructor or the energy or whatever was great and you want to give feedback, either individually on a course or all together, just, you know, please share. And I will say this too. The next time Ignite comes around, and it will, it's going to be a whole new version. It's Ignite 2.0. So when you see that on the calendar, please don't say, oh, I already did that. Maybe circle back, peek your head in. You know, this is a continuum. Brand new in the business, I will tell you, we never stop learning. It's just like, you know, your doctor. They don't become a physician and then they go out and they never turn back to education again. We are financial physicians. And literally, if you look at it like that, we can either improve someone's current status, or we can actually cause them to go down a road that may take forever to recover. So we have to take it with that level of seriousness. With that said, I applaud you all. I thank you for your time. And I hope to see you in Bold. Go be great. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Right.
Awesome. Thank you.